Okay, we start now. I will read sloka number 7 from chapter 8. Tatsmat sarveshu kaleshu manusmara yudhya cha mayarpita mano buddhihi mame vaishyat asamshayam. Therefore, at all times, remember me and fight. With mind and intellect fixed for absorbed in me, you shall doubtless come to me alone. In this sloka, there could be some doubts arising. When we do upasana, we are trying to concentrate on one thought only, japa, one thought. So when I am doing japa, how can I also do another activity? That is, here he says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. Mam anusmara means think of me only, remember me. I mean, every thought should be of godly thought. Yudhya cha. So that means he says you also do your, because Arjuna being a Kshatriya, so his job is to fight, to establish dharma. So the doubt comes how two activities can be done at the same time. That means when I am doing japa, if I concentrate on my japa, then I cannot do any other work. But that is not the meaning here. We have a conscious mind, we have a subconscious mind, and we have an unconscious mind. To give a clear example, when we learn car driving, we concentrate, all your attention will be on the driving, how to keep the brake on, how to keep the accelerator on, look forward and do the steering wheel in such a way that you don't create any accident. And that too, the training school people, they will not take you to a open ground and drive there. No. In the busy city, they ask you to drive. So that means when we drive, because the driving school has got a car fitted with a duplicate this one. Even if you forget, he will press the accelerator or brake when something comes, obstacles come. Once you have learned driving, suppose you are an expert driver, now you take his condition. What does he do? While driving, one attention has to be on the driver driving on the road, and the other is he also talks on the telephone. Nowadays it's very common that while driving only people talk to other people. So if they can do two things at a time, that means the conscious mind will focus on the road, whereas the unconscious mind, where the lessons have been learned and stored there, that will automatically come into play. If you have to change the speed, if you have to change the gear, you have to change any vehicle coming opposite, you have to change the direction. All this we are doing. So that means all of us are equipped with two items, two concentrations, one on the consciousness and the other on the subconsciousness. Similarly here, what Lord says is, Arjuna, do your swadharma. What is your swadharma? To fight, to establish dharma. That you do. And in another corner of the mind, you also have Bhagavan at the back of your mind. I mean, think of Bhagavan only at that time. Another classical example is the Tambura Stuti in a musical program. When the singer, he will have the mind attentively to the Shruti, at the same time, the other one, he will sing like Kalpana Swarams and all that. So that means two things are possible. Again, what happens is we have a mind and intellect. When I do japa, suppose japa means what? Repetition of the same name. Abhyasa yoga, that's what he terms it as on the 8th shloka. What is Abhyasa yoga? Same name, we go on repeating so that it becomes constantly into your mind, and over a period of time that constant thought will become your habit or your samskaram, or it can become your vasana. But at the same time, when I sit for japa, every one of us can try. You sit for 5 minutes, take one name, and go on repeating for 5 minutes the same name. It is not possible at all in the beginning, because after two thoughts, the mind will go elsewhere. We may think of a future plan. And when you do that type of meditation, the planning you will do excellently well, especially when I do sit in the morning and then start my japa meditation. At that time, my office thoughts will come into the mind, and I have to plan what to do, how to do, whom to meet, what all work to be done, so that I can do it very efficiently, because my mind, the thinking possibility is done by the intellect, and the repetition of the meditation is done by the mind. So between the mind and intellect, we need a coordination. Integration is required. So you have to tell the mind is, I am going to do meditation for the next 15 minutes or 5 minutes. Please, I should not do any thinking, any future planning. Give instruction to the mind. When you are thinking, do thinking only at that time. At that time, don't do meditation. Suppose the intellect says, you should not get angry. If you get angry, there will be a lot of problems for you. Tension will be there. Blood pressure may go up. All these agitation of the mind also will take place. So at that time, what we should do is, the mind should be cultivated. The intellect has decided that you should not get angry, but the mind has not accepted, because the mind, that angry thought has already gone into you as a deep-rooted thought. So that is why, even if I don't want to get angry, I get angry. That is because it is already stored in our vasana, samskara. That can be eliminated by repeated thinking. I should not get angry, I should not get angry. And then it should be in cooperation with the intellect, because the intellect has said that if you get angry, so many health problems will come. So go on repeating over a period of time. This thought, I should not get angry, will get deep rooted. And that is how, but it takes a lot of time. That's why, when the habits are formed, I told you some time back that one thought, he says, watch your thoughts. That becomes your word. Watch your thought, that becomes your word. Watch the words, that becomes your actions. If I have to do any action, I should have a thinking. And before that, I should have a desire. Watch your action, that becomes your habit. So if I do repeated thinking of the same thing, I should not get angry, then it will become a habit. Watch your habits, it becomes your character. Watch your character, that will become your destiny. So it is possible, but only thing is you have to have a tremendous amount of practice, patience and practice. With that, it will be possible for somebody to get this new habit of whatever the intellect says, because that is the buddhi has viveka, discrimination between good and bad, real and unreal. But it is mind will not accept it so freely, easily. So mind has to be cultivated, mind has to be educated. So this is what he says is that you can do two things at a time. One, consciously you do whatever present work you are doing, and at the time in a corner of the mind you have a subconscious mind that will also be. That means you should always at the background think that I am not this body, mind, intellect. I am anatma. I am atma. That is at the back of the mind. So this practice required. That is what he says. Mayarpita mano buddhi, mano buddhi. Both should be under my control. I should be able to control the mind and intellect. That means I should be the boss. Nowadays, what happens is the mind drags us to some side, intellect gives you some knowledge, but we are not willing to take the knowledge from the intellect, and at the same time, I am not willing to abide by the mind's instructions also. The sense organ says, I won't listen to any of these people. I will do my activities as I feel like. So that means there is absolutely non-integrated system. So between the sense organs, between the mind, between the intellect, and between the ahankara, they should all have one line of thinking. That is called integrated personality. He is a wise man. He is a Buddha. And Krishna gives a guarantee, asamshayam. So if you remember me all the time, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmaram yudhyacha mayarpita mano buddhihi mame vaishyas asamshayah. You will reach me. That means there will not be any division between you and me. We are one and the same. Asamshayam. No, I'm giving a guarantee for you. Now he says in the 8th sloka, how to do this, how to get it. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati partanu chintayan. Abhyasa yoga yuktena, this is one method. Chetasa, the mind. Nanyagamina, we should not allow the mind to wander. The last sentence word is anuchintayan. Anuchintayan means again, remember me all the time. Sarveshu kaleshu, that's what he said in the previous sloka. Whom to think of? Paramam Purusham Divyam. Uttama Purushan, the highest personality. Paramam Purusham Divyam, divine. So he says, with the mind not moving towards any other thing, made steadfast by the method of habitual meditation and constantly meditating on the Supreme Purusha, the resplendent, O Partha, he goes to him. That was from the Yati. Yati means he will attain me. In the seventh sloka, he gave how to control your mind and intellect. Now, in this sloka, he says it is possible for you. For that, he has given three methods. One is Abhyasa Yogam. Abhyasa Yogam. This is what Lord Krishna also taught to Arjuna. Because Arjuna asked a question, my mind is agitated. I am not able to control my mind. It becomes wild. It is uncontrollable. For that he says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Abhyasena means constant thinking. And vairagya means dispassion toward the worldly objects. Because the worldly objects are not going to give any pleasure. Because we all think that the worldly objects will give you constant pleasure. That is the reason why instead of meditating, we go after the objects. So let us take now Abhyasa Yoga. Constant practice. We should see when will we get attracted to Bhagavan. See, even in our normal parlance, the difference between the mind and buddhi is mind is emotional. Love is an emotional quality on the mind. And buddhi has value. It values. So if I value something, naturally, automatically, I will love that item. So the dependence between love and value I attend one lecture, or in the classes we listen to the teachers, professors, and we value the professor because he has got knowledge. But his behavior may not be good. I may not love him. You see, two things. You should love and you should value. That type of person is Bhagavan. I will love everything, but I have no value for that person. It is only Namkavaste. It is, see, when I go to the temple, I love Bhagavan, but only for 5-10 minutes there. But afterwards, so the respect, the mind and the intellect. Mind loves, intellect values. So these two values are very, very important. And that is what is called as intelligent living. What is meant by intelligent living? That we should have an integrated mano-buddhi. So abhyasa yogena means, abhyasa means constant practice. Go on repeating, constant practice. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. The yuktena means united. Yunjan means joining, united. The mind should be constantly thinking of Bhagavan. Because we have a highest value for Bhagavan. Nowadays, what happens is we go to the temple because we are using Bhagavan as a tool that I have to achieve something. So I go to Bhagavan. It's like Bhagavan becomes like an agent to get you what you want. Otherwise, it should be the reverse. That ultimately I want only Bhagavan, because Bhagavan can give everything what you need. Then he has used one more word, Nanya Gamina. So Nanya Gamina means do not allow the mind to wander. Because I know Bhagavan can give me everything. Sarva Karma Balatata, Bhagavan. So when he is able to give everything to you, then why should you go outside? See, we have a wrong knowledge Okay, Bhagavan will give, but for the present, I need to get all these things from the world objects. I feel the world objects will give me happiness, but world objects are not going to give you happiness. It will give you happiness in the immediate future, immediate instant, temporary pleasure, but it is not a permanent pleasure. So that means Nanya Gamina. Anya Gamina means going out. Nanya Gamina means without allowing the mind to wander, concentrate on the Bhagavan. That is Abhyasa Yoga. So through Abhyasa Yoga, the mind can be channelized into thought of Bhagavan. Nanya Gamina. And he has also used one more word here, the last word of the second part, Anuchintayan. Anuchintayan means no gap, no interval. Anu means repeated, follow, repeated, Chintayan. All the three words are more or less same, synonymous, but each has got its own importance. Anuchintayan. As I told you, when we sit for meditation, japa, that in the 5 minutes, according to psychologists, people say that in a day, 60,000 thoughts are entering into our mind, minimum. For some people, it will be more. 60,000 thoughts in a day is entering into our mind through these 5 jnanendriyas. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. 5 jnanendriyas bring more than 60,000 thoughts in our mind. Now you can imagine what is the type of crowd we are having inside. That is the reason why we are not able to concentrate on any single item. So if you want to do concentration, then you have to use Abhyasa Yoga. Then you should use Nanya Gamina, should not be allowed to wander here and there. Anuchintayan, think of that every now and then and bring that mind. That means you have to educate the mind. How will you educate the mind? There is no pleasure, happiness in the worldly objects. Bhagavad Gita has already talked about this in earlier slokas. There's a sloka. Of course, he is also going to talk this on the 18th chapter. I'll give you 2 examples from chapter number 5, sloka number 22. येहि संस्पर्जदा भोगा दुःख योनय एव चे आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः. A wise person knows extremely well that whatever pleasure we get through the contact of sense organs, it is nothing but dukkha yonaya. It is the womb of all the sorrows what we have. Because Adyanta Vandaha, they have a beginning and they have an end. So that it is not permanent. So Yehi Samsparjada Bhoga, Dukkha Yonaya Evate, Adyanta Vanda Kaunteya, Na Teshu Ramate Buddha. So Buddha, wise person, do not go after the pleasure of this contact with sense organs and objects. And again, he says in chapter number 18, Vishayendriya, this is sloka number 38, 18th chapter. Vishayendriya samyoga yattadagre amrutopamam. So the sense pleasures are like amrutam. Vishayendriya samyoga yattadagre amrutopamam pariname vishamiva tatsugam rajasam smrutam. So you can see now, pariname. That means initially you get the pleasure similar to that amrutam, but afterwards it starts giving you visham. It becomes like a poison. So that means this is the knowledge we should have. Very difficult to follow because we all find that the pleasure is only on the objects or on the relationship or on my wealth or on my knowledge. So that is why I said, let me take the 6 slokas from Bhajagovindam. First 6 slokas of Bhajagovindam very clearly says, with this the mind has to be educated. Mind has all limitations, but it has also got the other capacity to elevate itself. Somebody may say, I am doing japa. So when I do japa, when my thoughts are not regularly coming one after the other, then I bring the mind using some force. That is called suppression. That means you are not allowing that thought to bloom out. Suppression. I suppress. If I get some angry emotions, instead of overcoming the solution for getting over the anger, but we suppress it. And I don't like a person who is coming to my house. I know the mind says this fellow is not good to enter in my house. But when he comes, we smile, welcome him. But in the mind, it has that anger is there. But we don't show it outside. This is called suppression. Second thing is you can indulge. Indulgence also is very bad because indulgence will take away all your strength. Then what you should do is you should sublimate. What is sublimation? Exposing the mind to higher source of joy. Sublimation is exposing the mind to a higher source of joy. So if you read these, understand these first 6 slokas of Bhajagovindam, you will see now what are the limitations of the mind under the present situation, material life. So he says, Bhaja Govindam, this is sloka number 1. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Bhutamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rattati Dukrinchi Karane. Worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, O fool, rules of grammar will not save you at the time of your death. He says that any amount of knowledge you have, any type of knowledge, other than scriptural knowledge, it is not going to come to your help to rescue you from death. Physical death, nobody can refuse. Possible to stop. But you can get that fear of death will go away from you. If you seek Govinda, the fear of death will go away from you. Material knowledge is not going to give you this benefit. So what is the first benefit? That worldly knowledge will not save you from death. That is physical death, but takes away the fear of death. So that is the first thing, first limitation. Second is, Mooda Jahihi Dhanagama Trishnam Kuru Sadbuddhi Manasi Vitrishnam Yellabase Nija Karmopattam Vittam Tena Vinodaya Chittam. O fool, give up your thirst to amass wealth. Devote your mind to thoughts, to the real. Be content with what comes through actions already performed in the past. That means he says, The wealth is not going to give you freedom from death. In spite of having a lot of wealth, the death will always take place. If you got more wealth, the problem is security. Income tax fellow may come and take it, or some robbery will take place. So many, if you are in business, losses will take place. So that means the fear of death will be there, even in spite of your having lot of worldly wealth. We need food, shelter, and house to stay somewhere. But that's okay. But we should not indulge. Money cannot buy peace. That is the most important thing. Money cannot buy sleep also. You may have an AC room with all, most up-to-date cars and things and all that, upholstery, but to get sleep, your mind has to cooperate. That means if you want peace of mind, you should turn to Bhagavan, not for the worldly wealth. So that is the second. Third is, Nari Tanabara Nabi Desham, Dishtva Maga Moha Vesham, Etan Mamsavasa Adivikaram, Manasi Vichindaya Varam Varam. Do not get drowned in delusion by going wild with passions and lust. These are nothing but a modification of flesh. Fail not to remember this again and again in your mind. So that means passion. Whatever is the worldly pleasure we are enjoying through our sense organs, that is not going to give you freedom, liberation. So that means today our problem is that we are only going after, as I told you, worldly knowledge. We go for worldly knowledge because we amass as much education as possible. Then we go for worldly wealth. Yes, plenty of wealth. Then we also go for worldly pleasure. US tour, American tour, here, there, and all that. So that means we are, by enjoying the worldly pleasures, bodily pleasures, what happens is we get totally drained off. Our vital organs get drained completely. When Nachiketa, Yama told Nachiketa, I give you whatever you want, whether you want the world, long life, kingdom for you, and all these things. But what Nachiketa said was, okay, you will give me all this, but one side you are taking away my age. I become old age. Once I become old age, all my sense organs become weak. Then how can I enjoy? So that means keep it with you. I don't want. I want to know the secret of death. So that is the Vairagya. I mean, Nachiketa was not enamored by all these worldly pleasures and other things. So that is what he says here, that the worldly pleasure is not going to give you moksha. Then comes the fourth shloka. Nalini dalagajat atitaranam taddad jivita matishaya chapalam vittivyad abhimanagrastam lokam shoka hasamsha samastam. The life of a person is as uncertain as raindrops trembling on a lotus leaf. Know that whole world remains a prey to diseases, ego, and greed. So this is the worldly existence. We think that we are immortal here. No, we are mortal. How? As he has said, that drop of water on that lotus leaf. A small breeze is enough to to throw the drop of water into sea, into that pond again. Our life also is like that. We hear sometimes, there is a heart attack. The man yesterday I saw him, he was talking with me, but late night he died, he passed away. I mean, death is not under our control. But what is under our control? The thought of Bhagavan. So if we are all Bhagavan, we are all God. Aham as Brahmasmi. So this thought, for that, we should work. So we should get this knowledge. I mean, we should go for satsang, scriptural study, then constant practice, abhyasa yogam, nanyagamina, anuchintayanna. So all these things will give us a rethinking in our mind, and we will re-educate our mind. Yes, all these worldly pleasures, worldly environment, everything is ashashvatam, not permanent. What is permanent? Only the existence of Bhagavan. He will give you security, he will give you pleasure, he will give you infinite happiness, and he will give you immortality. There is no birth and death afterwards. So that is the. Then next is the fifth one. Yavat vittoparjana saktaha tavan nijaparivaro raktaha pachat jivaji jadjana deshe vartam kovina prithyati geshe. So long as a man is fit and able to support his family, see what affection all those around show. But no one at home cares to even have a word with him when his body totters due to old age. Very, very practical here. The worldly love, what we have. Lord is giving unconditional love. Unconditional love. But we get conditional love from all our relations. We may say, oh, no, I love completely 100%. No. So there is a Swami Shantananda Puri. He gave an example. There was a guru and his disciple, and the disciple was a young man. And the young man, he is married, and his young wife is with him, and he has the parents also with him, and he was having full affection from these two people, these two sets of people. So this Guruji was teaching him from the Upanishad one mantra, Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. This was the topic. That means everybody loves himself, not for others. I love my wife because I conditional love. It is not an absolute love, conditional love. I like my children, conditional love, because when I become old, they will look after me. That is called conditional love. But what? Bhagavan gives unconditional love. So he argued, no, in my family, they are all very, very, very affectionate with me. They give whole 100% love to me also. But then the Guruji said, you just wait. Tonight, around 12 o'clock, I give you one powder. You take the powder, and when you get up in the morning, you will not get up because you will be like a dead person in the morning. And when your family members see you in that condition, they will immediately call me because I am Guruji, I am the only known man there. So they will call me, I will come, and you watch the drama. So the Grihastha took the powder. Next morning, when the family saw him, he was seen as a dead person. Then they immediately called the Guruji. Can you retrieve him? Because you have got siddhis, you have got a lot of powers. So why can't you bring him back to this life? Then the Guruji said, yes, I can do that. I will use my spiritual power, siddhis, to bring him back. So do one thing. You bring one glass of water. So he brought the glass of water, they brought, and he did chant some mantras, and all the prarabdha karmas of that fellow who died was taken out and then put in that tumbler water. Then he said, and then now he will wake up as if he is waking up from sleep. But now there's one condition. If he has to wake up, somebody has to drink this water. And if they drink the water, whoever drinks the water, he will die immediately. What a condition. Then the parents, he looked at the parents, old parents. And the father said, no, I cannot drink because my wife needs me. Without me, she will be in problems. She will have a lot of sufferings. So we will not be able to drink that water. Then the Guruji turned to the young wife. And the wife said, anyway, he is already dead. Now what is the use of his coming back? And I have still life to go. So she also refused to drink the water. Then the father thought a plan. Swamiji, Guruji, you don't have a family, you don't have anything, and you drink this water, and once you die, we will celebrate the 16th day function very elaborately, called all the monks and all that. At that time, the boy got up and he was listening to all the talks he was having. Then he got up, went to his room, gave up everything, took one dhoti and walked away from the house. And he said, I'm going to the ashram because now I know where I get my permanent love. We may be wondering, then in that case, this is called absolute love. So the thing here is, you have your relations, enjoy the world, enjoy the surroundings, enjoy the wealth, enjoy everything what is given by Bhagavan, but at the back of your mind, all this belongs to the Bhagavan, and I should be totally committed to Bhagavan. So in the background, see, when I learned driving, it is easy for me to drive in an open place, open ground. But if I have to drive in a crowded city like, say, Coimbatore or Chennai or Mumbai, so naturally you need a lot of practice. You can see people are driving. How do they drive? Intelligent driving they are doing. Same thing when we want to direct our life, we should use that intelligent living. And what is intelligent living? That I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this intellect. All these worldly pleasures are kshanikam. It comes and goes. Adyanta vandak kaunteya. Na ramate buddhaha. So the wise person is fully aware. So he is now seeing this as a drama. And the last sloka of Bhajagovindam is, Yavat pavano nivasati dehe, tavat prachati kushalam gehe, gatavati vayav deha apaye, Bharya Bibyati Tasmin Kaye. When one is alive, his family members inquire kindly about his welfare. But when the soul departs from the body, even his wife runs away in fear of the corpse, dead body. So that means even the worldly relationship is like this. As long as we live, yes, it may the maximum pain may be for the wife, nearest wife, or maybe the son, or the if the wife has passed away, the husband will mourn. But how long? So that is the worldly relationship, undependable. But that is the reason why we should depend on Bhagavan. So that is why he has said, Prayana Kale Mam Anusmara. So the thought of Bhagavan should come at the time of death. That is possible only when you start practicing it from the early days of our life. If I indulge in various activities, in sense pleasures and wealth and all that things, then such a turn will not come. For them also is okay. Punarabi Jananam, Punarabi Maranam, depending upon the balance of your punyam and pabam, you will get such a life, which will be, which is also is okay. There's nothing wrong in it. But if somebody wants liberation, we are all Gita students. We want liberation. We want to know what we are, where we are going to end. These 6 shlokas of Bhajagovindam, which was written about 1200 years back by Adi Shankaracharya, that means he has seen that this is what is going to come now, happen. So he has given us an instruction for us to have the knowledge that this life is ashashvatam, impermanent. One day we are the physical death is definitely going to take place, but we are more worried about the fear of death. And if you want to escape from the fear of death, then you should have a strong knowledge of Bhagavan. Everything needs knowledge. Without that, so that is why first he said, do karma yoga. That means do everything Krishna Arpanam, Arpana Buddhi. Second, he said, Upasana. Try to concentrate your mind in single thought. Abhyasa Yoga. And then go to Jnana Yoga, where we have Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. And that will give you that we are permanently, we are Bhagavan. Aham Brahmasmi. That knowledge will come only through this Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga study. So even the worldly relationship is similar to that one. Gita never asks anyone to renounce the world. Please note, Gita never asks anyone to renounce the world, but try to live intelligent living. For that intelligent living, what you should do? You should have developed Vairagya. We have 4 Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Even earning should be through dharmic methods, not by corruption, not by cheating, not by forgery, not by this thing. So use dharmic way of life and get this wealth, dharma, artha, kama. Then the ultimate goal should be mumukshutva, liberation. And for that liberation, what you should have? You should have viveka and vairagya. What is viveka? Discrimination between what is real and unreal. This world is unreal. Bhagavan is the only real person. So once we have that viveka, then we will not go after the worldly objects. That is called vairagya. Viragaha. So that means these 3 terms, Abhyasa Yoga, Nanyagamina Anuchintanan is nothing but first have karma yoga, purify your mind, and then you get viveka. And once you get viveka because of vairagya because of viveka, and then go to jnana yoga and be free. So that is what he says finally. That means he says, detach from the world and attach to God. That is called Abhyasa Yoga. Abhyasa Yoga is nothing but detach from world, attached to God. Because we need some attachment. Without attachment, we cannot live. So here he says, you attach to God. So that means now we should know how to steer our mind and intellect. These are two equipments which is given only to human beings. It can be used in any way we like. It can be used for indulgence, pleasures, relationship, everything we can do that. But at the same time, we can also use the same equipment for lifting ourselves up to mumukshutvam. Uddared atmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet atmaiva ripuratmanaha atmaiva bandhuha. The mind intellect is our enemy or friend according to the way we treat. So Bhagavad Gita very clearly tells us how to way of living. It's not asking you to do this only. No, it is for the individual to decide whether I should have that type of life or this type of life. So that is in our hands. The ultimate goal, you should have one goal in life. What is your goal in life? You want to be free. Free from what? Free from samsara. Free from fear of death. So all these things are possible provided you follow some of these instructions given by in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan's song is called Bhagavad Gita. So Song of Bhagavan, that is called Bhagavad Gita. I think we stop now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.